Up next, we have a case study by Kim Taylor. She's the Customer Experience Director at Flight Center Travel Group from South Africa. She's going to be talking about the customer service during a global pandemic in the travel sector. A short introduction of Kim. She's an experienced head of customer care with a demonstrated history of working in the leisure, travel, and tourism industry. She's skilled in negotiation, sales management, public relations, and crisis management. Hello, Kim. Welcome to Customer Experience Management Summit.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're most welcome, Kim. The stage is all yours.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for the opportunity and good afternoon, almost good afternoon, South African time to everyone joining us. So I'm going to be chatting through customer service during a global pandemic, just a bit of a case study. And when I reviewed my notes, I thought it was quite simplistic because it seems like something we should all be doing all the time. But when I reflect back, it's those simple little things. We didn't overcomplicate the business during COVID, and we really stuck to our guns in terms of a simple approach to our customer engagement and our customer service management and supporting our customers that really saw us through COVID. You can imagine the travel industry was incredibly hard hit with all the various lockdowns happening globally, not just from a South African point of view, but obviously not being able to travel out of South Africa into certain destinations. And South Africa has been on a lot of red lists for quite some time, and it's only in recent weeks that travel's really started opening up for us. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the lessons we learned as a business and that I personally learned as a customer service professional. I think when you think you can't learn anymore, you do. And that's certainly been my experience in the past 18 to 19 months. So I really remember the exact moment I knew that COVID-19 would impact our lives in a very real way. We were sitting in a boardroom at our Johannesburg campus, and there was speculation that President Ramaphosa would lock down South Africa, lock down the country. We had already by that time been dealing with a massive spike in volume of booking cancellations as the world slowly started closing down. In the space of one weekend, our key destinations from our outbound travel perspective, Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and the USA were already closing their borders. So we were already at that time, around February, beginning of March, already dealing with volumes of booking cancellations. When President Ramaphosa confirmed our lockdown in South Africa, we basically had to move our business overnight into a sort of online workforce or work from home model. So we have a very big retail footprint in the leisure space. So all those consultants work in stores, in key locations, in malls, shopping malls, and they had to work from home. And then all our campuses had to obviously move to a work from home model, which is not something we've ever done before. So overnight we had to deploy sort of laptops to those who didn't have laptops, reroute phones, and basically go from a sort of a vibrant working culture in the office to a work from home model. And like I said, it was nothing that we had ever done before. So that happened overnight. And I don't think anyone at that point knew the impact that COVID would have on the travel industry at large. We went into hibernation for quite a few months where we weren't selling travel. From a customer experience point of view, and I lead a customer experience team, we were inundated throughout. So where the business went into a sort of hibernation period, we were busy with customer complaints, obviously around refunds, customer frustrations around rebooking, cancellations, demystifying supplier policies, which were very complex at the time, and trying to ease customer fears. As time marched on, many customers were themselves financially impacted by COVID. So where a majority of suppliers were trying to safeguard cash flow and obviously sustain their business, they were offering credits and vouchers to customers, and customers were saying, no, I don't want a credit or a voucher when I'm going to travel again. There's no sort of end in sight. And also I've been financially impacted by COVID. There've been job losses in our personal capacity. We want monetary refunds. So it was managing customer fears and trying to ease customer anxiety during that time. Flight Center in South Africa, as a business, we also went through a period of right-sizing our business. In May 2020, we had to close one of our brands, our cruiser bike brand. It was a strategic decision at that time just to ensure the longevity of our business and to safeguard our runway. We also right-sized the business in terms of our retail footprint, to close some of our locations, and then also went through a retrenchment process. So throughout that all, it was also being mindful of the employee that was going through very real personal issues themselves with spouses or partners that we were losing employment. Some of our own employees lost employment. So that had a massive impact on the employees that remained behind, and how did we motivate them and take them through that period. I remember meeting with my team and early on, when we went into our first lockdown, and making some very quick decisions in terms of how we were going to manage this customer experience going forward. There's nothing we ever anticipated or had prepared for. So we dealt with many crises in the past, but nothing on this scale. We were on the receiving end of so many customer queries that were being posted on our review platforms and on our social media feeds. Customers were at home during this time, unable to go anywhere. So communication quickly moved from email and phone calls onto our public platforms. We knew that customer feedback wasn't necessarily going to be good during this time. Like I said, we were dealing with a lot of booking cancellations and customers wanting refunds where we couldn't offer refunds. And we decided that we were going to answer every single query. We were going to be brave, and we were going to engage with customers, not hide away, and answer every single query that came through. At that time, because it's nothing that we'd ever dealt with before or encountered, I was doing a lot of sort of research in terms of what were other companies doing. And it was noticeable that companies were dealing with volumes of queries globally. Many shut off sort of commenting on their social media feeds, or switched off commenting on their review platforms, and just didn't engage with customers. And we decided that we were inundated. We were, volumes were coming through the business, but we weren't going to shy away. We were going to answer every query. It was good, bad, ugly. And that's what we did. We answered every single query. And what was key was we changed our approach, and we decided that we would engage from a very real place. And that place was one of making sure the customer always had a voice, and that the customer felt heard in what they were saying. We quickly reviewed our traditional holding statements, and what became very apparent to us was to throw the traditional customer experience script out the window and kind of redesign and reinvent the way we engaged with our customers. But one key learning for us was being human and speaking from a very human place to our customers. A large part of our day was dealing with increased levels of emotion and customer anxiety, uncertainty and confusion. And a lot of the time we didn't have the answers, but what we could do was listen and empathize and commit to doing our very best. And most of all, we were available. So we worked around the clock during that time to help our customers navigate this very new world of travel and to navigate very difficult circumstances. This period for us was also vital, ensuring that our teams were supported. Like I said, they too were going through very personal situations themselves. And for the most part, they were coming online every day to work, and dealing with negativity from morning to evening, and sometimes after hours too. So we had to make sure that we looked after our employee too during this time. Reinventing how we supported our customers gave them our employees a sense of newfound purpose. And each day when we met before our lines open, share our experiences from the day before and commit to tackling each new query in a creative way. So our commitment was always to supporting our customers and being creative in our approach. And this brought a new sense of purpose to the team, in terms of reinventing some processes that maybe became somewhat archaic, and changed the team in a very different way.
No, there's something wrong here.
As a leader, I learned so much about keeping the team motivated when their hands were essentially tied, and they were dealing with a very new customer type. So during our own sort of retrenchment process, we had lost 2 team members within our team. And there was no clear time frame as to when travel would open up. So spirits were essentially low. But like I said, it was keeping the guys motivated and giving them a new sense of purpose that saw us through as a team, which was very key and very vital to us. So a large part of the day, like I said, was dealing with queries, and we had to reinvent a lot of what we did. Customers responded well to the engagement. There was the good, the bad, and the ugly, of course, but we persevered. We saw each interaction as an opportunity to educate our customers, to show that we were still standing as a business. Sadly, many of our competitors did not make it, within the travel industry. When we right-sized the business and we communicated that, there was a lot of fear around us as a business. We had a lot of customer queries coming through, worried about their bookings, basically saying that, that we've right-sized the business. Does it mean that we would close one day as well? So it was kind of making sure that the communication was clear to our customers, that we wouldn't be closing our doors, educating them on the decisions that we made, and just having that open communication all the time. As a business, we identified opportunities to help and support whilst in hibernation. So for a period of time, we played a key role in repatriation efforts and helped book repatriation flights. So there wasn't travel happening globally. We weren't able to get in and out of the country or to travel to other countries, but obviously repatriation efforts were something that played a role in our space. And we encouraged customers to storytell on our review platforms. And it was really such a success for us. The repatriation is a journey that you walk with your customer. It's not a straightforward booking. It can take up to 3 months to confirm a repatriation booking because there's a lot of authorizations that need to happen between countries and a lot of quarantine bookings that need to be finalized. But you go through the highs and the lows with your customer. And when I talk about being human, that's really where we shone through that period. We were very human with our customers, and we cried and we laughed with them and walked that journey with them. And our review platforms very slowly lit up with success stories of repatriation efforts. And that's probably been one of our shining moments throughout lockdown and throughout COVID. This new customer environment for me personally was something I'd never encountered in my career. I learned that I could be professional yet honest. I could admit that I didn't have all the answers, but I could commit to finding them out and remaining supportive. I could show vulnerability and empathize. And because a lot of the time we were in the same situation as our customers. And like I said, the repatriation, I think, was a period where we were very honest with our customers. We learned a lot as a business. We laughed with our customers, we cried with our customers, and it was one of our greatest achievements. And I was very proud throughout COVID and lockdown, our sort of overall customer sentiment was at an all-time high, and we managed to maintain our overall trust score indexes on both Hello Peter and Trustpilot, which are two prominent review platforms that we use in the business. So in the moment, you kind of going through this crisis, and then as things start easing up and travel starts opening up, you decompress a lot. And I started jotting down our key learnings. There were 3 main ones, but I wanted to take you through a sort of laundry list in terms of key takeaways through leading the business through a crisis and something that we will implement going forward. So communication is key on your websites and social media feeds. And making sure that your customer is in the loop of what's happening all the time. What really worked for us as a business is FAQs. So to those commonly asked questions where we wanted to drive down volumes in the business, we made sure that there were FAQs on our websites, or that customers could self-service in terms of those common questions they wanted to ask. We had to reinvent the business and how things had always been done. So we shifted our customer engagement to social media and to our review platforms. It was very public, but that's where customers were engaging with us. So not a lot of telephone calls coming through and not a lot of emails. Customers found it a lot more quicker and easier to go onto our social media feeds and to ask questions there or to lodge their query there, and we engaged with them there. What was really great is when we answered a question on social media and closed that customer loop for that one customer, someone else would be educated at the same time if they had the same question that would also be answered for them. We never stopped responding to our customers. And this has been one of our greatest success stories, and customers really appreciated the 2-way communication. And that was probably the greatest key feedback that we received from customers during this time. What we learned is that we had to be human first and foremost. So empathy goes a long way during this time, and customers appreciated open and honest conversations, especially when we didn't have the answers, but we committed to finding out or getting the answers for our customers. We made policies and protocols easy to understand. In the travel industry, there's a lot of jargon that gets used, and a lot of the supplier policies in terms of reaccommodation were very complex to understand. So we demystified that for our customers and made it easy for them to understand and to grasp. We listened to our customers and we let them know that they were heard. So often I think we listen to reply instead of listening to understand. We let them vent a lot of the time. And through that, there were key learnings for us. There were very unspoken cues and a lot of sort of instinct that had to kick in from our side in terms of being creative in problem solving. So we listened to our customers, and a lot that we learned from them during this time, and we let them know that we had learned from them. We educated our customer and we involved them in the solution a lot. And then when we communicated, it was always honest, transparent, respectful, and realistic in terms of time frame. So in terms of travel, there was no sort of insight as to when COVID would end or when travel would pick up again, when borders would open. So it was ensuring that we were honest with our customers, especially around the bookings and the money they'd invested into those bookings. We never stopped learning as customer service professionals. We learned from every single customer interaction, and so that we could do better next time. And that obviously we've implemented a lot of our learnings into our crisis strategy, because like I said, COVID was not something we ever anticipated would ever happen, a global pandemic of that scale. So there's a lot of learnings that we will take into the business going forward. We encourage feedback at all costs, so whether it was good, bad, or ugly. We answered every single query, whether it be on social media or on our review platforms. And we always communicated what we would do, and we stuck to the commitment. So we never overpromised and underdelivered. So it truly has been an emotional journey, and we walked that journey with our customers. And I think the key thing was we knew that the end would somewhat be in sight. It would take some time. There were a lot of false starts, a lot of countries that were opening up to us and then suddenly closing down again as numbers increased. But over the past few weeks, the travel boom has certainly happened for us. So South Africa has been removed from a lot of red lists, and now we're permitted to travel to a lot of countries globally, some with vaccination requirements in place, some with testing requirements in place. And what we've really had to do through this period now is educate our customers and be first to market with destinations opening up in terms of what the requirements are from a vaccination perspective or from a testing perspective. What would happen if I got to a destination and I contracted COVID and I couldn't travel back home, or do I need to quarantine? So those are all questions that we have to answer for our customers. The customer is certainly very different now. They rely on us a lot more to navigate complex travel restrictions and to handhold them through the entire booking process and supporting them in destination as well. Obviously, in travel, lots changed in terms of hotels with COVID protocols. Sometimes you need to quarantine before you can actually travel into the destination and have your holiday. So it's very, very complex, and customers rely on us to be first to market with that information and to ensure that they are getting accurate information. We remain sticky and passionate about supporting our customers through the booking process. And we always ensure that we are affording our customers peace of mind, because that's why they come to us. They come and they book with the travel agency because they want to be afforded that peace of mind, and they want an expert or a thought leader to guide them through that process and to support them when in destination. Our online and technology plans have rapidly been brought forward in the business to ensure that we are adapting and meeting customer needs. Customer expectations, as we know, have been elevated, and we need to anticipate their every need and want before they even know that there is a need and a want. Our customer, though, throughout everything, throughout technology, throughout chatbots that have been brought into the business and AI and other capabilities, is every decision we make, we put the customer at the heart of that decision. And we have kind of adopted the approach where, we'll have a meeting and we'll say the customer's here in the room with us. They have a chair at the table. What would they think and what would they say? So the customer is truly at the heart of every decision we make as a business. Before I end off, there's just one quote that I've always loved, and I think it's never rung more true than what it does now, is customer service is not a department, it's everyone's job. And I think as a business, there's definitely been a breaking down of silos between departments. I think before COVID, customer experience was really becoming more prominent, and you really had a voice at the table. I think in years gone by, many customer experience professionals will agree that sometimes trying to share ideas or to drive certain strategies was like pushing spaghetti up a hill. But I think through COVID, businesses have recognized that customer service professionals and customer experience departments have been key in driving certain strategies and implementing them and bringing businesses through COVID. And we certainly now is the time where we have a voice and to influence change. So customer service is definitely not a department, it's everyone's job. And I think we have a key voice at this time to drive strategies going forward and to embrace this new type of customer that we are dealing with in this post-COVID world. Thank you so much.